Hey, welcome to the NextDrop Question. I'm Mohamed Ateia. This is a short conversation series where I ask one focused question to experts working at the front lines of water, contaminants, environment, and practical solutions. Hello from Albuquerque. We are in New Mexico as part of our tribal engineering support work. The focus is water in emerging contaminants and the challenges communities are facing on the ground. The goal is to listen, understand the site conditions, and think through practical engineering support that can help. Today, very fortunate to speak with Edwin Jaramillo. Ed is the Director of Public Works here at the Pueblo of Isleta, and we will be talking about communication, how outside technical teams can engage better, listen better, and support tribal communities in a way that is both useful and respectful. So, let's get to it. Ed, thanks a lot for carving time for us. We are really grateful for the opportunity to listen more to some of your thoughts on this very key topic. But let's take a step back. Can you introduce yourself? And who are you? And what are we doing here?
Okay, well, thank you. My name is Edwin Jaramillo. I'm a tribal member here from the Pueblo of Isleta. I'm 53 years old right now. I am very involved with our tribal community day in, day out. I'm a lifelong resident for the Pueblo of Isleta. I'm a small rancher farmer and traditional. Also, I work for the Pueblo of Isleta. I am the Public Works Director. I've been working for the Pueblo for around 13 years, probably. I've started as a utilities division manager and worked my way up to the director. I have employees from custodial to maintenance department to utility workers to laborers, the office staff here, working on multiple projects in that range from water, wastewater, infrastructure improvement projects to design and construction projects for facilities, buildings, and I enjoy it. This is my work family here. I I hate missing a day, I guess I should say, because this is where I love to be, and I think I'll continue doing that until I'm run out of this department. I did consider running for a governor for the Pueblo of Isleta. I ran 2 years ago. I was up, well, I ran up against the current governor right now. Fortunately, I lost that race, but I'm considering running again this year. Let's see where that puts me. But with that, the department would stay with me here. So that's pretty much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing. So, I think we have just a couple questions for you. Would love to hear your thoughts and opinion about it. First question is that would like to hear your thoughts so that folks would have an opportunity to support in the future would get that kind of awareness. The question is, when outside technical teams come to work with tribal communities, what do they often misunderstand from your point of view?
What do they misunderstand? I think what they misunderstand working with tribal communities, probably like as in the water and wastewater industries, when we have outside entities come in, they think that we're in a city type of environment where all the connections are in sequence following like a subdivision would be built. But out here in tribal communities, everything's all rural in open country. Unfortunately, tribal communities are left behind in the industry itself, meaning like the new technology, the infrastructure. So now very many communities, tribal communities, have updated infrastructure and mapping system, any as-built of the entire facilities that they manage and maintain. Isleta is very fortunate. The department is very fortunate that we get a budget set aside each year through our tribal council approval that we've been able to grow since I mentioned in the past that since I've been a utilities manager, we've grown tremendously from where it was 13 years ago. We've come a long ways. We've got to build a mapping system using GIS and today's technology, and we're mapping our water and wastewater systems right now. That I think this is where outside either engineers or anyone from like through EPA have the difficulty of thinking that it's information that can be given fairly quick, and but there's a lot of investigation that needs to happen, throughout tribal communities in order to get all the correct information you all need.
So it's a communication that should be the starting point, like asking what is there, and we start building from there, like without any assumptions. That's what you're trying to just advise them.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So I think the second question, again, we appreciate your time, is also trying to reverse that to the community, the outside, for information that they should be prepared for. Like, what kind of information are actually useful to the tribal leadership when making environmental or infrastructure decisions?
So right now, what the question I think I'm understanding correctly is like, what type of information would be given to tribal leadership that way they understand anything in the infrastructure? Because right now, in any tribal leadership, they don't have the background in different infrastructure projects. So a lot of detail has to be given to them in order for them to understand projects, the infrastructure, the components that all fall into place to produce drinking water, and also delivery of that drinking water once it's wasted, sent into the treatment plant for its process. But at the same time, we gotta try to not overload them with too much information. Otherwise, they'll just get lost in all that information and they don't understand. I mean, not that I'm trying to belittle them or anything, but that's just, that's what I see nowadays,
Yeah.
happening.
So it's communication, I guess. So the first question was trying to facilitate what kind of information gathering exercise that an engineer or an outsider trying to understand the actual situation on the ground. But at the same time, they can come with a lot of solutions, but without a proper way of communicating them in the right context, the right level of details, I guess that can cause also potential issues.
Yeah.
So simplification of delivery of these messages, is that what you are suggesting that potentially could be helpful?
Yes, correct. And also along with that, not only literature, but I think more so like a visual type of like PowerPoints or something to be given to them better. I think they would better understand something like that than a lot of literature that they'd have to read through. And also, the in-person communication updates on information that's been given to them. So that way they can ask the questions right then and there.
Yeah. Okay. Again, that was really helpful. And again, we appreciate your time and thank you for everything that you are doing.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks for having us. We are here enjoying the service that we are trying to deliver. But again, appreciating your time here.
Oh, well, I also thank you all for, coming in and helping the Pueblo with all of this water testing that can be given back to the community and tribal leadership once all the analysis are complete, and then go to the next step of trying to figure out what would be needed to do the treatment process. So it's very exciting. I know it's probably gonna cost quite a bit to come to the treatment process, I'm sure, in the future, not only to build a facility, but to also keep maintaining it for the rest of its life.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
here to help. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. That was the next drop question. Thanks for listening. See you next time.